from one part of one half of the Congress. The only out is for these people to realize that they're in a suicide caucus.
They are not in the suicide caucus. I know that because I founded Suicide Caucus in 1983. That's right. It was my speed folk jazz fusion band, Suicide Caucus. And I will have you know, the magazine Rolling Stone called us also performing. I apparently had to urinate during that set. But this gets us to the dilemma that the Republican elites are facing. They want to let the Tea Party know that they are not allowed to call the shots. But they sure were excited a few years back when the Tea Party showed up.
The big split between the establishment and the new people, the Tea Party folks, is vastly exaggerated. I think it's extremely harmonious. I think overall it's a tremendous asset for the Republicans. It's the party that has the structure absorbing the energy of these spontaneous demonstrators.
They wanted the energy. The Republican the party wanted to absorb the Tea Party energy, to swallow and digest the Tea Party's enthusiasm and passion, so long as the Tea Party promised not to burst through their chests and replicate what burst through the establishment's chest. Of course, the Republican Party's brain, its architect, El Blossom del Terdo, has a plan to fix all this. And wouldn't you know, his plan involves sending money care of El Blossom del Terdo.
Karl has helped launch the Conservative Victory Project that has made the Tea Party and people who are supporting that part of the Republican Party very upset.
Our object is to avoid having stupid candidates who can't win general elections.
And to make this country a better place for all its citizens. Nah, it's actually the elections thing. The goal of Mr. Rove's Conservative Victory Project is to identify candidates with bona fide conservative-based credentials whilst not actually being from the conservative base, so that they are actually controllable. Because Rove knows the crazy talk's not supposed to be said out loud.
The Republican Party seems to have hurt itself. That's what the polls say. And you say?
I think that's accurate. Look, Republicans and conservatives, angry over the victory of President Obama, wanted somebody to stand up and fight. The defund strategy was never going to work.
Thank you, Commander Hindsight. Bill, I told him it wasn't going to work. And then I also called a guy and I said, a Lone Ranger movie in 2013. I would never. And then I said to Steve Jobs, no one wants to take pictures with their phones. I mean, cancel that. What I said to Steve Jobs was, sure wish I could fit all my songs in my pocket. But the shutdown, it's too uncompromising. Focused too much on stoking the anger of the Republican base over Obamacare without an exit strategy. It's as though the entire misguided shutdown affair was a culmination of a decade-long strategy to rile up and politically engage the most rigid and ideological pockets of the Republican Party. Which is why Karl Rove has no right to complain about all these radicals ruining his nice Republican Party, because he's the one who invited them. I give you Building Red America by Tommy Edsel. During the 2004 election, old Captain Retrospectively Obvious set out the GOP strategy of, quote, activating conservatives' anger points rather than reaching out to moderates. Anger points like free health care for illegal immigrants and same-sex marriage, leading to scenes like this. A sitting United States Senator from Rove's home state of Texas sharing the stage at a rally with this gentleman.
We are now ruled, quote unquote, by a president,
a pluralistic president,
who bows down to Allah. I call upon all of you to wage a second American nonviolent revolution to use civil disobedience and to demand that this president leave town, to get out, to put the Quran down, to get up off his knees, and to figuratively come up with his hands out.
There are so many things wrong with that. Factually, ideologically, grammatically. Meanwhile, doesn't it? It looks like everybody behind him is like, shut the up so we can bid on those storage containers. So now, old Turd Blossom here has to create a super PAC to attempt to battle the stupid he himself unleashed. So no simpatico for a guy who started a fire that now rages out of control. Perhaps the single least self-examining Republican crazy enabler is the increasingly senior senator from Arizona, who had this to say about his colleagues' uncompromising shutdown strategy.
We are now seeing the end of this agonizing odyssey that this body has been put through. It's one of the more shameful chapters that I have seen in the years that I've spent here in the Senate.
Senator John McCain calling some of his Republican colleagues, and I'm quoting now, wacko birds.
You don't get to complain! McCain, you don't get to complain at all. Because if I remember correctly, no matter how cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs you think your wacko bird colleagues are, they don't come anywhere close to your hatchling.
I found just the right partner to help me shake up Washington, D.C. Governor Sarah Palin of the great state of Alaska.
You opened Pandora's box. You were the guy who gave the Mogwai a post-midnight, all-you-can-eat buffet. You don't get to complain that now the party's overrun with gremlins. What's happening?